Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, August 25. A productive meeting, the words of upbeat Education Minister Cynthia Bradshaw as she emerged from today's talks with secondary school teachers at the Wilder Gymnasium about the planned reopening of schools. Despite reservations expressed by the island's main teachers union about the ministry's handling of the talks, scores of teachers participated in the discussion, and Minister Bradshaw is satisfied.
I felt that the teachers were very forthcoming in the approach to the reopening of school. I get a sense that they, like many of us, including parents out there as well, would like to see a return to the school environment, and the only concerns that they have is obviously the operationalization of how a number of the proposals that are on the table can actually be implemented, and those are real concerns all of us have. I've tried to make the point to everyone repeatedly over the past few months that this is not a perfect situation, and we are working with everyone to try to find the best case scenario that will allow us to get our students back into school and to allow our teachers to be able to teach in as safe an environment as possible.
She added that teachers broadly support the resumption of school and they were able to outline a number of issues that should be addressed.
I have encouraged the principals to work with their staff to try to find the best case scenario for the respective schools. The view is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach that we can possibly take to reintroducing students into the face-to-face environment. But I think there's a general feeling that a blended approach where we couple face-to-face with the use of technology is perhaps the best way to go. And thankfully, my colleague ministers are willing to work with us, whether it is to engage with the churches to be able to provide spaces or to be able to ensure that we use community centers if we have to be able to expand the offerings of locations that are available. I think even the gymnasium is open as well, where we might have to do a lecture style type session for students also to be able to facilitate it. So I think having these discussions allows certainly the other ministers to realize some of the multiplicity of issues that are existing in education. One of the major concerns people had obviously was in relation to children whose parents in some cases have been laid off, and they're obviously been struggling over the past few months. And so together we are trying to work with welfare to be able to assist families wherever we can. But we've asked teachers, because they're on the front line, they're the ones who sometimes pick up the issues before any of us do, if they can continue to liaise with the ministry and in particular our student support services to ensure that we're able to nip a lot of the concerns in the bud from as early an opportunity as possible.
Government's Welcome Stamp initiative is already reaping dividends. Word of this from top officials as they provided an update on the program, which allow visitors to live and work remotely from Barbados. Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams told a news conference this morning that some 1,079 applications were processed between July 18 and last Saturday.
Of these applications received, 764 were individuals and 315 were family bundle applications. The 5 leading countries seeking entry under this program are the United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, Nigeria, and India. The USA, Great Britain, and Canada accounts for 788 applications, which equates to approximately 73% of the total applications. Approximately 60 persons have been refused based on the fact that they were seeking employment in Barbados and or received derogatory comments from the JRCC indicating an association with narcotic networks or other undesirable activities. It should be noted that of the people recommended for refusal, some were actually asked to submit additional information, and when they did submit the additional information, they were primarily persons seeking employment.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Chief Immigration Officer, Margaret Innes, reported that several of the approved applicants have already settled on the island.
To this point, we've had approximately 12 persons arriving in Barbados, primarily from US, UK, and Canada, and those are our dominant markets.
Usually single people or the families?
You have a combination of both single and individuals. The individuals, the numbers far outweigh the family groups, but The families are coming as well. They're asking a lot of questions, and persons are looking to relocate their families so while they're working remotely, so as to have some luxury during that time as well.
Minister of Tourism, Senator Lisa Cummins, revealed there's also strong interest among Barbadians across the diaspora to participate in the remote program.
So you have a number of Barbadians who are living and working abroad. Their families are with them. They've married, or in some instances in particular, what we are seeing is those Barbadians who are children of Barbadian citizens, and they are Barbadians by descent. Many of them have never lived or worked in Barbados, but they're in different sectors that allow them to work remotely, and so they're in countries where they're challenged by the circumstances there, and they now want to, because they have a connection to Barbados, they want to come home and they want to bring their families, and so they're reaching out to say, can we come? How do I bring my family? How do I bring my husband, who is not Barbadian, but I'm a Barbadian? So you have those persons who would qualify in their own right as Barbadians to be here, but they're looking to come here as descendants of Barbadians because of their connection. So that diasporic market is a significant area that we're going to be targeting in the coming weeks.
A Colombian and 2 British visitors, including a 5-year-old boy, are the latest COVID-19 positive cases in Barbados. The toddler and a 38-year-old man from Britain, both of whom are known contacts of a case that was confirmed on August 18, tested positive yesterday. They were transferred to the isolation facility at Harrison Point, St. Lucie. A 31-year-old Colombian man also tested positive on arrival at the Grantley Adams International Airport yesterday. There are now 164 confirmed COVID-19 cases, which include 25 people in isolation. No one was discharged from the isolation facility, so the number of recoveries remain at 132.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back. To regional news now. In Jamaica, new COVID-19 restrictions for a number of communities in St. Andrew and Kingston are set to take effect on Thursday. We get the details from Television Jamaica.
In the last few days, several communities in Kingston and St. Andrew have recorded a spike in the number of positive cases for COVID-19. It's why Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced a stay indoor order for those communities.
We intend to increase significantly the level of enforcement and prosecution, particularly for persons who have been allowed to enter the island and who are not maintaining the quarantine. If you take the infection prevention and control measures seriously, you will reduce significantly the possibility, the probability of being infected.
The order will take effect on Thursday. Mr. Holness explained that the move is to prevent unnecessary movements outside the household. There are more than 29,000 persons currently under home quarantine. And Mr. Holness said it is impossible for law enforcers to monitor each of them 24/7. But in light of recent events where images of persons flouting the health protocol were circulating, Mr. Holness has ordered the police to do house visits to ensure that home quarantine is being upheld. Under the Disaster Risk Management Act, persons caught in breach of the protocols can be charged.
On the international front, the lawyers for the family of a black man shot in the back by police in the U.S. state of Wisconsin say he will need a miracle to walk again. 29-year-old Jacob Blake was shot at least 7 times as he went to a car and opened its door. Lawyers told a press conference today that at least one of the bullets went through his spinal cord.
Think for a second what other things these police officers could have done instead of firing at least 7 bullets into the back of Jacob Blake Jr., leaving him at this moment paralyzed. And because those bullets severed his spinal cord and shattered some of his vertebrae that Attorney Salvi will get to in more detail, it is going to take a miracle. It is going to take a miracle for Jacob Blake Jr. to ever walk again. He is currently in surgery as we speak, still struggling to sustain his life.
He had a bullet go through some or all of his spinal cord, at least one bullet. He has holes in his stomach. He had to have nearly his entire colon and small intestines removed. He suffered damage to his kidney and liver and was also shot in the arm.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.